Imagine a world where the most valuable treasures are not what you can see, but what you choose to hide. A world where the cost of looking successful can quietly, invisibly drain your entire future. This is the story of two paths, two men, who stood at the precipice of their careers making choices that would echo for decades. One chose the gilded cage of perceived status, the other, the quiet, unyielding power of true wealth. Meet Liam. Fresh out of university, armed with ambition and a decent job offer, his first major decision was a car. Not just any car, mind you, but one that subtly whispered success to his colleagues and peers. It was a German sedan, gleaming under the showroom lights, promising prestige, a tangible symbol of his arrival. That monthly payment, he reasoned, was an investment in his image, a badge of honor that would open doors, command respect, and reflect his upward trajectory. The numbers felt big, but the feeling of driving it, the subtle nods of approval, surely those were worth the stretch, weren't they? He signed the papers, a surge of pride mixed with a faint, unacknowledged tremor of fear. Then there was Ethan. Same university, similar job offer, but a different perspective. He saw Liam's gleaming sedan and felt no envy. Instead, he drove home in a practical, pre-owned vehicle, reliable and unassuming. It didn't turn heads, but it didn't siphon away a significant chunk of his income either. Ethan saw the car as transportation, a tool. His focus was elsewhere, the subtle growth of a nascent investment account, the first few dollars compounding almost invisibly in the background. Each quiet contribution, far from the public eye, felt like a silent victory, a secret pact with his future self. The thrill was internal, not external. Liam's next move was an apartment in the trendiest part of town. High ceilings, city views, and a postcode that screamed, "I've made it." The rent was exorbitant, but the thought of hosting friends, the casual mentions in conversation, the proximity to vibrant nightlife, it all felt like a vital part of his identity, a self-fulfilling prophecy of success. Every design choice, every piece of furniture was curated for impact. The expensive coffee machine, the art that looked important, the bespoke suit hanging in the closet. These weren't just possessions, they were props in the elaborate play of Liam's ambition, each one a silent declaration of his worth, yet each one draining his true worth, one monthly payment at a time. Ethan, meanwhile, found a modest place a little further out, functional, affordable, with enough space for his books and a quiet corner to think. He poured his spare energy not into decorating, but into learning, into honing skills, into understanding the mechanisms of true wealth creation. His home was a sanctuary, not a statement. His evenings weren't spent at exclusive bars, but diving into financial literature, coding projects, or side hustles that quietly built equity. While Liam chased the fleeting applause of others, Ethan was laying brick by brick, the invisible foundation of his future empire. His progress was unseen, unheard, and profoundly effective. Years began to unfurl. Liam secured promotions, his title growing more impressive, his income rising. But with each raise came an unspoken expectation to upgrade, to keep pace with his increasingly affluent circle. Bigger house, more exotic vacations, private school discussions for future children. The invisible status became a relentless treadmill. The pressure was constant. Every new acquisition, every grand gesture felt less like a choice and more like a necessity to maintain his carefully constructed facade. He was earning more, yes, but he felt perpetually on the brink, always one unexpected expense away from disaster. The golden sheen of his life masked a deep-seated anxiety. Ethan's trajectory was different. His promotions were steady, his income grew, but his lifestyle remained largely the same. He invested every surplus dollar, every bonus, every small windfalls. He focused on assets that generated income, on businesses that scaled, on knowledge that empowered. He occasionally faced gentle mockery from acquaintances about his sensible choices, his lack of flash. But Ethan merely smiled. He knew what they didn't, that true freedom wasn't found in what you bought, but in what you owned, and more importantly, in what you didn't owe. His quiet confidence was his greatest asset. One year, Liam decided to pull out all the stops for a dream vacation. A lavish European tour, 5-star hotels, gourmet dining, and carefully curated photos for social media. Each post was met with envious likes and comments, reinforcing his belief that this was how life should be lived. The credit card bill, however, told a different, starker story. The joy of the trip was slowly eroded by the lingering debt, a financial hangover that lasted months. He found himself working harder, longer hours, just to pay for a memory that was already fading, constantly chasing the next experience to maintain the illusion of a perfect life. The invisible chains were tightening. Ethan's vacation that same year was a camping trip with his family. Simple, joyful, deeply connected. He packed his own food, explored nature, and spent quality time truly present. There were no Instagram perfect moments, no envious glances, but the memories forged were priceless, entirely free of financial burden. His chosen path, while less glamorous, granted him something far more valuable: time. Time not spent worrying about payments, time not spent working just to service debt. This deliberate choice allowed him to truly live, to experience life on his own terms, without the crushing weight of external expectations. As middle age set in, a market downturn hit. Liam, with his significant leverage, the huge mortgage, the car loan, the accumulated credit card debt from maintaining his image, found himself in a precarious position. Every headline, every dip, sent a cold spike of fear through him. His perceived status offered no protection, only increased vulnerability. He had no substantial liquid savings. His assets were mostly illiquid or depreciating, and the pressure to keep up appearances meant he couldn't simply downsize without admitting failure. The fear was paralyzing, the anxiety a constant hum beneath his forced smiles. The invisible chains became visible, weighing him down. Ethan, in contrast, saw the downturn not as a crisis, but as an opportunity. His diversified portfolio, built on years of disciplined, quiet investing, was solid. He had cash reserves, not for emergencies, but for strategic deployment. While others panicked, Ethan calmly acquired assets at a discount, strengthening his position. His wealth wasn't dependent on looking rich, but on being rich, truly, fundamentally rich. His financial health was a fortress, built brick by brick, not gilded with flimsy gold leaf. The quiet choices of his youth now paid dividends in profound peace of mind and strategic advantage. Decades passed. The weight of Liam's choices became unbearable. His grand house, once a symbol of success, felt like a mortgage prison. He worked past retirement age, exhausted, perpetually chasing dwindling returns, his health suffering under the stress. The status he had sought felt hollow, a cruel joke played by his younger self. He looked back at the glistening car, the fancy apartment, the lavish trips, and saw not memories, but missed opportunities. Every premium paid for invisible status was a premium subtracted from his future, from his peace, from his actual freedom. He had spent his entire life building an image, only to find himself trapped within it. Ethan, on the other hand, retired early, not out of necessity but out of choice. His wealth, built silently, strategically, allowed him to pursue passions, travel with purpose, and spend invaluable time with his grandchildren. He had no grand displays, no need for external validation. His life was a testament to the power of delayed gratification, of prioritizing true substance over fleeting appearances. His freedom wasn't bought with a flashy title or an expensive car. It was meticulously crafted, dollar by dollar, choice by choice, in the quiet solitude of discipline. Liam's last years were filled with regret, a heavy shroud woven from countless small decisions made for the wrong reasons. His life was an expensive illusion, carefully maintained but ultimately empty. The invisible status he chased became an invisible prison, a constant burden. Ethan's final chapter, however, radiated a profound serenity. He left behind a legacy not of material possessions, but of choices that led to genuine security, true independence, and a life lived on his own terms. His wealth was not just monetary,